Hi everybody, Mary Brown here, aka Pterodactyl. Welcome to the Pterodactyl's Nest channel. I'm pretty excited today to bring you a nice walkthrough and maybe a micro review of The Empath's Oracle by Raven Digitalis with art by Konstantin Bax. And we just had Raven Digitalis on the Tarot Today radio show today. I will post a link later in the description for that episode, so you can hear what Raven has to say about this deck and book set. He wrote the book along with a lot of other books. Oh my gosh, here's some of the other books by Raven Digitalis: The Everyday Empath, The Esoteric Empathy. And the interesting thing with Esoteric Empathy, The Everyday Empath, and now The Empath's Oracle is this is actually a trilogy now that Raven has done here. And he does talk about that during our interview from this afternoon. And again, I'll have that link there. He had some really great things to say. And we talked about empathy and being an empath and, what that's like and what the upside is and how, so often we get kind of talking about the more, what could be perceived as negative aspects of it. And we don't really focus on, the gift that it is. So anyways, let's take a look at this. The book is fabulous, not just for the words of Raven, but also the way it's put together. And look at every card has this beautiful full color image in it, and kind of glossy cards here, or glossy pages here. And this is altogether 209 page. Uh-oh, what's my dog doing with with my whole thing here? Ethel, stop that. Okay, thank you. Things happening off camera with my fur babies. But anyways, look at this. Look at that art. It's beautiful, the glossy 209 pages. You have a bit about the author and the artist, and just about the artwork itself as well. The artist, I mean, phenomenal, Konstantin Bax. And there's like a short bio about him. I'm like, where is this? I know I saw this in here. Did I dream it? Oh, it's written in the very beginning. And there's Raven, and there's Konstantin. And Konstantin Bax, Hamburg, Germany, was born in Wiesbaden in 1979 and graduated from university, Master of Arts Interior Architecture, and settled down in Hamburg, which was where his great-grandmother had lived. And he's been there happily as a freelance artist since 2006, born of a family of artists. And it says the highly coveted originals by Konstantin Bax can be found in numerous private collections worldwide, and prints may be purchased on his website. So you want to go to www.konstantinbax.com to look for prints if you're interested after we do a walkthrough of these cards. And then Raven Digitalis, Hawaii, Montana, again, author of Exploring the Empath's Oracle, which is the name of this guidebook that comes with the deck, and also author of The Everyday Empath, Esoteric Empathy, Shadow Magic Compendium, Planetary Spells and Rituals, and Gothcraft, which I just ordered today. Gothcraft is out of print, but I was able to snag a copy on Amazon today, so I'm excited to get into that and tell you all about it. And just amazing. Trained in Georgian witchcraft, Raven has been a witch since 1999, a priest since 2003, a Freemason since 2012, and an empath all his life. Has a degree in cultural anthropology. Co-operated a nonprofit pagan temple for 16 years. Professional tarot reader, DJ, card-carrying magician, and animal rights advocate. And you will find out more about him, and keep up with what he's up to, because he has more things, more irons in the fire, by going to www.ravendigitalis.com. All right, and to be perfectly honest, this deck was sent to me by Llewellyn. So I could take a look at it before the before the interview, so I knew what we were talking about. And then I thought, oh, you guys have to see it, so I'm going to do a walkthrough of this as well. This is the back design, as you can see. Look how gorgeous that is! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Um, and comes in a nice sturdy box. You see that back design, kind of on the cardboard. Pull out inside, there's a ribbon. Oh, nice, nice. This comes out completely ribbon intact. So if you want that extra space to keep crystals with your deck, or maybe some special amulet that you like to keep with your cards, something like that, maybe something particularly connected to your empathy, like crystals connected to your empathy, which is something I'm going to be talking to Raven about, I think in July, on There's a Rock for that radio show. So stay tuned for more about that. But I love that this pulls out. I so prefer that than the ones that are glued in, because when you try to get those out, you end up like kind of tearing up the bottom, and it doesn't look cool anymore. I mean, you can put a cloth in there or whatever, but I appreciate it when it's not. And the ribbon being inside, that is kind of like a real nice touch. Yeah, I don't remember other sets that have done that with the ribbon in the insert and comes out with it. That's kind of cool. Okay, but anyways, well put together, nice magnetic closure. Box cover art, of course, is beautiful, and by the same artist. And the book, 209 pages, full color scans of the cards in there, glossy pages. Each card is, and it's organized very well, by number, and the cards are numbered, so that makes it easy. When you're just getting a feel for the deck, and you want to find what page to go to right away. But so they're all divided into, like, they break down the essential themes of the card. Raven does a beautiful job describing the imagery in the card, which not always do we see, and I appreciated that, because it goes the extra step of like why the imagery relates to the idea in the title of the card. And then he gets into a section on deeper meanings, and let's see, it's actually quite a long section on deeper meanings, and then suggestions for action, which is really nice, giving you a sense of like what you can do, what you should do, when you get that card and it's really resonating with you. But beautifully put together. And let's start going through these cards, and we'll pick out maybe one card to kind of look up in the book and look at the deeper meanings of. But just to get us started here is card number 1. This is a 40 card deck. You can see that. Oops. Little shadow. So establishing emotional boundaries. And again, the Empath's Oracle. So think of this as sort of like, how to deal with other people, and maybe things that are kind of getting to you too much. Establishing emotional boundaries, it's pretty good advice. And then the art is just phenomenal. I think it looks like he's painted in energy. He did this all with acrylics, not digitized. Okay, so come on. I mean, that's amazing. Second, trusting in destiny. third card. This was the card of the day I posted today, by the way. I think my camera's a little, it's either the camera's too far away or it's too close this time. It might be a little too close, but this was a card of the day posted on my Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. Realizing empathy as R in parentheses evolution. So revolution, evolution. And I give the meaning for that on the radio show today when I talked about the card of the day. So I'm not going to go into that again, but that's a terrific card and so positive in a real meaningful way. Card number 4, shielding, protecting, and grounding. Yes, empaths, you know it. You know you need to be doing all of that, right? All the time. Alchemizing confusion into clarity. Ooh, I'd love to do that sometimes, huh? I think this is going to be a very useful deck, loving the self on all levels. Maybe it's not such a tall order as sometimes we're led to believe, huh? So that's a good one, actually, to like look up and see, like, you know, what the meanings are like. You know, we don't have to do it for every card, but really just doing it for one, we get a sense of it. So let me just read this. Loving the self on all levels. You can kind of check out the artwork. Let's see if I get a good shot of it. Okay. Essential themes: releasing the need to be perfect and solve everything. Appreciating the whole self in mind, body, and spirit. Making self-respect and self-value the new default perspective. And then he talks about the imagery. This card's painting symbolizes a need to appreciate our own beauty. In addition to physical beauty, this necessitates a deep understanding of our own inner being with all its perceived flaws. The person depicted in this card understands their own being as a work in progress and sees beauty in their path to completion. The image illustrates the power that comes from having healthy self-confidence. I love that. I love that he interprets the art like that and shares it. And then we get into the other section here. Whoop. That is really just kind of nice. You know, it's this deeper meaning section. Again, I want to make sure you can kind of dig the artwork. It says a deeper meaning. He says, let's not sugarcoat this reality. Perhaps the most difficult life lesson for any empath or highly sensitive person is to love ourselves, because we're prone to absorbing judgments and hanging on to them for a long time. In addition to our own expectations of perfection, we need to regularly invoke love, compassion, and gentleness toward ourselves. Indeed, self-hatred and regret can lead to the darkest of thoughts and actions. Pulling this card encourages you to focus on what self-love means. This is not some sort of idealism where a person feels they are infallible. There's always room for improvement. Or else you wouldn't be here experiencing this journey of life. Self-love starts with an acceptance of who you are at this time, be it physically, mentally, emotionally, or anything else. In other words, stop hating on yourself. To err is human, and we mustn't become attached to mistakes of the past. Not to mention, everyone and everything in life is in a constant state of change. It's possible to feel compassion and empathy toward our past selves, because that's not who we are now. So when the future rolls around, our present selves, who we are now, deserves the same amount of empathy. We don't need to wait for the future to feel genuine and gentle compassion for ourselves right now. Self-love is a far cry from arrogance or self-righteousness. Love is a gentle, forgiving force, not something attached to the ego. We can be confident without becoming prideful. Loving ourselves is not something that happens overnight and is not something that will necessarily be felt all the time. We have the right to forgive ourselves for slipping into moments of disparity and emotional self-sabotage. We have the responsibility of picking ourselves back up after a fall. We must be our own advocates in life. And then the next section he goes into suggestions for action. So, examining our conditioning is an excellent way to break through the barrier of self deprecation and judgment, allowing us to enter a vibration of gentleness and kindness to ourselves as the beautiful, empathic souls we truly are. Although it may feel like it sometimes, we are not the products of our upbringing. While conditioning from the past might make us feel trapped or helpless, the adults we choose to be are just that, a choice. We do not need or deserve to remain in a victim mentality or feel as though we have little to no control over our experiences and perspective. In life, we get to make our own choices and become the empowered empaths we truly are meant to be. This card urges you to reflect, meditate, and question conditioning. And he goes on, and the last paragraph, perfection is fiction. We're beautiful as we are, and we are choosing to become more beautiful and whole as each day goes by. To grow as empaths, we must first begin by cultivating true kindness, compassion, and empathy toward ourselves. So I just love that. I really do. And that's just an example of how he writes about each of these cards, and it's just really lovely. So let's continue with our walkthrough of these cards, mentalizing emotional impressions. And I love these titles. They're not the regular, they're not, he has a great way of phrasing things uh, that's fresh, that's new, that's really shows like more of a depth to it. So often, we get cards that'll have like an empath card to talk about empathy in different oracle decks, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I just feel a real connection to this deck. The artwork is such a aspect of that, but also the words as well. um, it's just so beautiful. And again, this just came out from Llewellyn. Should be available, I'm sure, on their website, and also check out probably Amazon for it as well. Major retailers, wherever you get your decks. They don't have it yet, I'm sure they will. Look at that. It's just so gorgeous. I don't even know how to really, describe just the effect on it. And I like this sort of silver border with it, and the lettering in white, is another interesting way to do it. It kind of works really well, so that I know some people like borderless cards, and I do too. But I do like it when the border helps, like it makes sense that it's there. And the artwork is so beautiful and so vibrant that I think a border does really help to sort of frame it, especially in that sort of neutral kind of silver gray color. I think it makes the artwork, the colors in the artwork just really pop. And these are laminated. They're not super glossy, which I do like. They didn't stick together, like when you get some oracle cards that have that really super heavy lamination on it, and you're like, you're afraid of ripping the cards just to pull them apart to shuffle the deck or look at them. These are nice and smooth. Cardstock, kind of on the thin side, which I prefer because it gives us nice flexibility. So it's well designed. They're not flimsy, but they are on the thin side and flexible, and that's great, especially if you're a riffle shuffler like I am. But, it's just beautiful. beautiful. I mean, sitting with sorrow, card number 26, and this blue, like back of the head with I mean, it's just, boy, it's just right. It's just right for that theme of a card. And this manifesting the future. I just love these titles and just the art. It just kind of, it's just great, like perfect pairing. Like a fine wine with a delicious, I don't know, chocolate. I don't know, whatever you have with your, fine wine, a charcuterie board. Jesus, who knows? We all have our own taste. Me, I'll probably take chocolate every time. Invoking guides, gods, and guardians. I like that. Oh, I really like that. I really like all of these. And definitely, I don't know about you, but I am going to go check out Konstantin Bax's website to see more of what's going on. I hadn't been aware of him prior to seeing these cards, and so I'm excited to learn more about him. And it was so great talking to Raven today and hearing about his work, and that he has now, such a body of work on empathy, especially, because that's something that I think there's so many people that are empaths, so you really want to listen to that interview today. And again, check out his website, ravendigitalis.com. Go over to Llewellyn.com, his website for the deck, or go to Amazon, your regular booksellers, your wherever you get your decks kind of places. And yeah, it's called the Empath Oracle. Bonding with the Rhythm of Life is card number 40, the last one. And that is the walkthrough. And here, let me show you, so it's the thing about it being, thinner cards is great. Look, this is such a normal size. I have small hands. I can hold these in my hands. I love that. And shuffleability. Listen to that. Look how smooth it is. The cards aren't bending all over the place or doing anything they're not supposed to. This just feels right. This feels really, really good, and nice back design. I love it. Invoking guides, gods, and guardians. There's your card. There is your card from this deck if you're watching it. Think about that. 31. Card number 31. Invoking gods, guides, and guardians. Okay, so again, this has been the Empath Oracle by Raven Digitalis, art by Konstantin Bax. Go check it out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.